And we're live, hopefully! All it took was reinstalling OBS after I got an error message from OBS itself saying, cannot connect. Because that's always a good sign. Yeah, 1 year anniversary! Clearly the year has done more for me than expected. Clearly. 1 whole year! What better way to celebrate that year than to start with the game that... the first game I played exactly 1 year ago. Sadly, I'll have to get rid of the jazzy music. Because now, it is time for... the one of 4, potentially 5, Souls game. Specifically Dark Souls 2. Oh yeah, I'm sure I didn't exit properly, game. You tell me. So unlike most people, I actually stream or not stream, I'm pretty sure people streamed this before, but this is the original Dark Souls 2. Not the Scholar version. And the reason I got the original one instead of Scholar is because this one's just so much more supported with mods. Just look at this iota of a difference. All the reshade was worth it. So, like any person blinded with optimism, I'm going to try and make this a no-death run. Because why not? Clearly all the crashes at the beginning, they were just a test. Clearly. It's better than not Scholar. It's the OG one. Just look at how OG it looks with the few mods. Seriously, just look at this modded mess. You know, I'm going to take your bet. I have the timer. For how long I say recording, but the moment my OBS timer hits 13... ah, shoot, I lost that bet. Damn. I didn't even get to finish that sentence. Okay, that was just a practice round. We don't need this character. We don't want it. It was made off stream. Damn it, these loading screens are feeling so long. Clearly what we want is a fresh, brand new start. How many times does it need to tell me it's loading something? You know what? That was just the practice round. This is the true starter. The one. The Destiny round. This is where it all begins and ends. All of it. You may think that was just the end, but this is the true beginning. You can tell by the way I'm cautiously going near that cliff, in fear of falling off. Why do you think I could run through that pile of bones? Alright, it's now for round 2. I'm prepared. That practice round served me this much. And with that much, I will prevail. See? That practice round was all I needed. Now it's time for the something. I don't know what it's time for, but I'll figure it out eventually. Ahmad, thank you so much for the follow.
Seems to be the ruckus.
Don't know why the notification didn't go off.
Oh my, your face.
My OBS muted.
The face of the curse.
Is that a thing my computer just did?
It's an undead.
No, it's not.
An undead has come to play. They all end up
Come on, OBS, why are you just cutting out animations?
You spoke to that kind old dear, didn't you?
Really, OBS? Not even a little?
You're finished. You'll go hollow. Yes. You'll
Really,
become one of
OBS?
them. Hollows prey upon men.
Those are the bars to teach you that this game was poorly made and does not understand what a resolution is, or an aspect ratio. You know, they're really there to, enhance
What is your name?
the There's the alert! I have no idea why it took 2 whole minutes. Now for the exciting part. I am actually going to make myself in this game for once. I know I usually use that Rosa character, but this time it's different. 1 year of... 1 whole year of technical errors is the special occasion.
Here's your reward.
You know, it really bothers me. Those black bars are just textures the developers added.
Effigy.
Like, why would you fake cutscenes with just black textures? You know what's the worst part?
What do you think
They're not
it's
even aligned.
supposed to be?
That's what makes it
Think
worse.
back, deep into your past.
You know how perplexing that is, knowing that they add black bars
It's
with the
an
texture,
effigy of you.
but they couldn't even align them? Alright, this is where the mid-maxing begins. Even though I don't really remember anything about this game. But what I do remember is I need to get the opposite gender's face. Yep, they're really just there to remind you about the quality of this game. Alright, now I know this doesn't look like me quite yet, but we'll get there. We will definitely get there. One way or another, progress will be made. You know, I kind of forgot how non-specific these things were. They really don't explain anything. I'm convinced half these sliders do the opposite thing they're telling you. Like, oh, you want to change your eyebrows a little bit? Go touch your chin. I am convinced that is how the system works. Like, really. I am really convinced. I mean, just look at this. How is that affecting the lip thickness? These sliders are a lie. Is that really all I have? Well, I guess that's the closest I'm going to get to lip edits. Now I remember why people make fun of the character creator. I knew there was something I was forgetting about this. Why don't they ever have wavy hair? Is that so much to ask? I mean, for once they have dreads. I mean, how often do you see dreads, to be honest? Like, they go out of their way to do the exotic, but they can't even get wavy hair right? Heck, in Skyrim, you could fake wavy hair just with textures. Now comes the question of counting out all the steps you take. Because you know if you do one too many, the whole thing just messes up. Like right there. I hate these sliders. Why can't they just have numbers? Wow, that looks nothing like I was expecting. Okay, change your plan. Damn it, why couldn't they just add numbers to these sliders? It would just make everything so much easier. It really would. You know, with how much time I'm spending on this character, I really hope I don't fall off a cliff. Yeah, in a way it kind of is. Maybe I should have used Blessed Online for like a face reveal. I feel like that character creator would do so much more than this one. I swear it's a pain just to align those stupid things. Maybe it's because I put the reshade on, but I can't tell if that's dark enough to look normal. I'll just go with it. Now, as much as I love this goofy mustache, I don't actually have... Well, no, I shaved, so I would never have this. But I still want to get the color, just for me knowing, even though you can't really ever customize your character. I hate these dots. Would it have really killed them to just add a number? Now for everyone's favorite, the tattoo system. Warning, tattoos may be lost through loading screens. I'm not even kidding about that, that's what makes it worse. You will actually lose your tattoo through a loading screen. And I just don't know how to feel about that. And I can't remember where this dot actually is on my face. You know what, screw it, we'll just put it where Monroe used to draw hers. Because I am not being bothered to get a mirror. You know, I hate to say it, but this only has a vague, passing resemblance to me. Like, I feel like my nose is just arched in a way I could never create on this. Like, the eyebrows are the right shape. They're just not the right height. Ooh, is it like a beauty mark? Like the ones Monroe used to draw and then everyone started drawing on them? Alright, this is the moment of truth. Can I make an arch on my nose? Oh my god, that's horrifying! Okay, we're done here. I'm not going to bother killing the character face. Clearly, this is as close as I'm getting. Huh, I don't know why. But I think I prefer this outfit on the other gender. Doesn't have the same impact. Also, it might actually be crushing my character's legs now that I look at it. That's kind of concerning. Oh, so it's one of those dots that people would never know you had unless you took a picture in recent years. Because I remember as a kid, I had like 3 dots on my face and nobody ever knew about them. Because like cameras back then were not good enough to like even show it. Okay, I've spent way too long on this character. Please don't die immediately.
All people come here for the same reason. To break the curse.
You're no different, I should think. Doesn't stand a
The dot?
chance.
Or the old camera? Or both?
You never know.
I feel like this could really go in both directions. I really feel like it could.
Go through
You know what, you're right. We need to get cameras that make people look skinnier and have dots on their face,
Remember,
and then use the camera lens to crush the dots. I know this sounds convoluted, but I think this can work. But we just need a bunch of
oh, I'll fool you
confusing
one
camera
day.
lens
You'll
and
lose
maybe
yourselves.
mirrors.
All of them. Over
Yeah, this could really work.
again.
It'll be like optical illusion, like the reverse of a funhouse mirror. A self-enhancing mirror. Oh, the pants, not the dot. Well, you know what? I kind of feel like the funhouse idea isn't such a bad idea. There's some hope in this. Is that really what they're called? I was kind of hoping they'd have some weird, confusing, unnecessary name. Yeah, that's the thing I never liked about mobile. Like, the moment they released? What's wrong with me? The moment they... Oh, I guess announced isn't the right word, but released Twitch low latency, it really made mobile worse because low latency only works on Chrome. Nothing else. Not even Chromium. The open source Chrome. Do you know how weird that is? You can't even use the version of Chrome the Linux community likes. You have to use the Scroogle version of Chrome. Holy shoot, a message. This game might not actually be dead. You know what's worse? It's only Twitch. Mixers is better. So is YouTube's, of all things. And, you know, maybe it's just me, but the fact that Mixer, of all people, has a better live streaming app in terms of delay, that's just appalling. The Microsoft version of something's supposed to be the worst one. Like, the Mixer app even lets you turn on and off low latency as a viewer. Why can't Twitch do that? Why? You know, now that I think about it, after using Twitch for one whole year, I don't think I could list any changes, to be honest. I'd like to say Twitch low latency was not a thing when I started. And I feel like that's the only thing that's changed during a whole year. That's kind of concerning. Yeah, that's a weird thing about YouTube. It's like it doesn't pick any favorites on the delay. It almost seems like it's purely random. And I'd honestly believe it at this rate.
You. And. What?
So some random trivia for people who care about this random no-name NPC.
Do. When?
In older versions of the game, he for some reason was wearing Pate's outfit. The hard leather outfit. No idea why they
That is
changed
a
him into
Let.
half the knight's armor and half the wanderer's outfit.
May you find peace on your.
Seems like a really trivial thing to do. Alright, now to talk to this
Are
lady,
you-
just looking at the
Or merely
wonderful
there.
depth of field in the
Take
background.
this. Go.
This depth of field would be perfect for hiding all the
So
horrible
that
draw
hope-
distances.
Is, however,
Seriously, why don't more games do that? Games that have like really bad draw distances in the background. Just make the lens, or not the lens, the depth of field look like an old school camera lens. Bless does it, although Bless actually looks good, so I'm not sure exactly why they're doing it. Fallout 76 does it, and I think it enhances the experience. Now every time I get the camera stuck on a wall, it's almost like it's a real camera. You know, that should really be a thing in a game, where you're fighting the cameraman. Because there's always games with bad cameras, which really shouldn't be a thing anymore. But I just like to see it. A game where you're actively fighting the cameraman. I feel like that's untapped potential. Like a lot of untapped potential. If I remember right, this isn't worth my time. Sure enough, it was not worth my time. Oh, neat, another message. Finally, messages. And they're gone again. For a moment, there were messages. Can't believe it. Those messages lie to me. It just feels so weird seeing, like, this area without any messages because just look at how flat it is. There's only so much texture can do to create the illusion of depth. Actually, now that I think about it, why is that spot so flat? I feel like it's more flat than the actual brickwork where I'm standing right here. Isn't that concerning? A world where some things are suspiciously more flat than others. I'm sure there's nothing significant about it. Probably just misuse geometry. I know it's really easy to push this knight off the cliff, but it always bothered me because I always get the idea it's like, oh, what if he drops his sword? Because all things considered, all the stuff they drop is really good. It's just low durability that gets in the way. Oh neat, the bloodstains loaded right before my eyes. Maybe someone's actively turning on the servers. It's like, oh, there's a player coming by. Quick, turn the server on. I just realized I don't have the Estus equipped. I should probably fix that. You know, I was really hoping those guys would turn around. I really don't want to have to run back to the door just for them to turn around. Yeah, they're really going for it. They are just... Yeah, they are out for blood. I like how the idea of these guys is basically, oh, our friend lost in a fair fight. Let's get him for winning. That is basically what this comes off as. Oh, those guys can actually run. I'll fight them. I just want to fight them one at one. And how did that miss? How did that first hit miss? I feel betrayed. Lied to. The cloth physics helped mitigate the pain. But it wasn't enough. It'll never be enough. So why am I doing more damage to these than the one that was protecting the lever? Are these enemies actually stat differently? Oh, damn it, I got them both. Oh, wait. Holy no. Oh, yeah? I only got one. This is promising. Oh, I guess he just waited. I don't remember both of them jumping you. I know in Scholar, like, one of these guys, and then a Hide Knight jump you at the same time. So I hate to say it, but I remember the first time I played this game, there was a message on here, like by the stairs, and the message said, "Be wary of falling," or something like that. So I decided to just get right on top of the corpse and write a message that just said "blocking" in all exclamation marks, right on top of the item spot. And for some reason it got rated kind of high, even though it was just a nuisance. It was just actively getting in people's way to try and like get them to misstep so they die. But people apparently found that funny. I always thought it was weird because in this game you can't downvote messages, you can only upvote them. So it implies all the messages are friendly. You know what, you're right, Jasmine. I should do it again. There was like another good spot I used to do it, like on the bird's nest. Because on that one you couldn't see the message, so when you would press A, you would just get the message show up as blocking. Okay, this one was the template I used. There we go. Now for the 12 people that still play this game, they'll have some excitement. See, this is how you bring life back to Dark Souls. By killing the 12 people who still play the game actively. Those 12 people will get so much joy out of dying because of a message that they'll uninstall this game. And then other people will play it. Or they'll just all move on to Scholar like any reasonable person would. You know, that's the worst thing. I 100%ed Scholar, but because this game doesn't carry over your achievements, I almost feel like I have to get all the achievements again. And I feel like that's just dumb. But I just get the feeling it's going to happen. I'm just going to end up getting them all again. Wow, he's really shiny. It's almost like he's glowing. Oh, the powers of reshade and generic down sampling tool. I was going to say its abbreviation, but it'd probably come off as me stuttering, considering how weird it is. It's just the first two letters of every word. I feel like that'd make a weird abbreviation said out loud. People would really think I'd have a stutter or a lisp. Damn it, he made it to me before the bridge fell. Can't believe it. Why is he just standing there? He's circling someone. Who is he fighting? Is he fighting the inner demons of his life? Alright, I know it's dumb, but I'm going to go for the parry. Wow, that took more than half my health. That was... You know, I've heard of risk and reward, but that was just pure... Like, I got nothing out of that. That was like low reward, high risk. You know, I need to parry him. Okay, maybe I should stop trying to parry him. You know, you're right, Jasmine. It could have gone worse. I did do a good job. Because Masterless Gleam Nor is still alive. That's all that matters. Okay, I need to stop parrying, or fishing for the parry. It's not working. Oh, I can't even parry that one if I wanted to. Curse you not, Ornstein, for not being parryable with my skill level. You know, it's never too late for another one of these. Oh no, I need to kick him out immediately. Can't have him stealing the souls. Yes, I did it on time! I robbed that NPC of his pretend souls. That's the true Dark Souls experience. Hey, Lewis, how's your morning going? Hopefully the birds aren't screaming at you. Because for some reason, the birds where I live, they just start screaming. I say screaming loosely, they're chirping. But they just start going at it around 3 a.m. and they don't stop until like... Actually no, I take it back. They stop at 3 a.m. and they start at 6. And the other weirder thing is, now there's an owl somewhere in my neighborhood. And the owl starts chirping around 4 p.m. Or I guess hooting? For the most part, it's basically regular Dark Souls 2, but with generic down sampling tool to give it the reshade-like effect. But as far as matchmaking is concerned, yeah, it's the regular Dark Souls 2. Although I do have all the DLC, including the pre-order bonus for whatever that's worth. No, I'll probably just run faster if I take everything off. While it's not the Scholar version, I have all the DLC, so Aldia will still show up, but like all the item placement and enemies won't. I thought that was so stupid. How, if you have the original Dark Souls 2, you buy all the DLC, and the game will pretend to be the Scholar version. God damn it, he didn't fall. Well, it wouldn't even matter, because if I played the regular Dark Souls 2 Scholar version, I can't even summon people on that one because I got soft banned for using Steam Big Picture to name my character. You know how dumb that is, that you can get soft banned just for using Steam Big Picture? Because it gets rid of the character limit, so if you go past, I think, 12 characters, the game thinks you cheated to get your name that long. It's so dumb. How Dark Souls 2 Scholar has that bug, and it's only Scholar because the original one doesn't have that bug. I think that's what makes it worse. They added a name bug that would soft ban you. Truly the quality we deserve from FromSoft. Now I have to say, with like the default setting, well, they're not entirely default, but with just a few settings on generic downsampling tool, it kind of makes the lighting look like a generic Unreal Engine 3 demo or prototype. Hey, what am I doing with that mace? Clearly this is the one I want. Yeah, the Iron Parma was such a good shield. Maybe it's just me, but I felt it looked way too reflective in Dark Souls 3. It almost looked more like a mirror. Although I did love the fact how it's basically a weapon art shield that looks like a parry shield. So you could really do some goofy stuff within Dark Souls 3. Make people think that you have a parry, backstab, fishing build. Yeah, that's a weird thing about shields in this game. There are a lot of small shields that are just as good as the medium shields. Some of them are even better. Like the Falconer shield. I feel like that thing's better than the actual shield you can buy from the store. What was it called? Tower Kite. I think that's what it was called. I like how there are no more messages next to any of the enemies. They're always right before or right after. Like, nobody's willing enough to just write it right now when you kill the enemy and say, like, be wary of a distraction. Yeah, I just realized something. This game has a lot of elevators, probably the most in any Souls game, and most of them are really just a one-time thing. Weird. Honestly, I think like the original enemy placement feels weird in places like this. It's like, yeah, we've seen this enemy a lot. Isn't it about time we got a new one? It just really feels weird seeing this guy repeatedly. I feel the same way. Like, I'm just so used to Scholar that just seeing all these enemies in different places, it really throws me off. It's just something I'm not prepared for. And maybe it's just me, but I feel like the second half of the original Dark Souls, I feel like places are actually harder because of the enemies being moved around. Well, so much for wearing this outfit. So close, but so far. There was a darkness mod for this game? Weird. It didn't show up on Nexus. Nexus is usually good at recommending the darkness mod for every Souls game. Why is this guy naked? And how does he have a baseball bat? Good old Don Quixote lady.
I can't. Don't.
You know, the one thing I have to say, her mask has really nice eyes on it. They're almost like weird insect eyes to make it look creepy. Oh, it's a cheat table thing. I was hoping it was like a lighting mod. Because for some reason, Dark Souls 2, the original one, has a bunch of really nice texture mods. You know what? You're right, Jasmine. I should summon him after I'm finished leveling up. Like, I didn't download any of the mods because this is basically improv, but there's like mods to make not everything, but like majority of the stuff, like 4K resolution, or like fix the skybox issues. You know, small things like that make things look better. Wow, I did not expect to have this many points to mess around with leveling. I really did not expect to have that many. Yes, I'm no longer fat rolling. It's all that matters. Now to go summon that phantom. Hopefully he didn't put a sign there because he's waiting for a friend. Do you know where people would do that? Where instead of getting the password ring or using the password system, they would just... Aww. It's gone. I'll never see him again. Can't believe it. I'm just so used to the dog jumping you in Scholar. I almost expect the thing to show up. That's bad. Maybe it's going to start happening to me in real life. I'm just going to expect a dog to be by a bridge now. This place just feels so weird without having the option to light up torches. It's almost like the game was intended to be dark at one point. Almost. And maybe it's just me, but that's another thing that I find so weird about like the original. How there's nothing to kick down, it's just a pile of debris. I don't know why, but this really looks like just a copy-pasted, convenient pile of debris. And I'm kind of surprised it only shows up there. That seems like something that would definitely get repurposed a lot. I have to say, one of the nice things that the original original Dark Souls 2 has is you tend to not get jumped by a group of enemies as much. It still happens, but it's not like a common thing in every level. Sadly, our Torch Hollow friend has been replaced with this guy. I know, it's such a shame. That Torch Hollow had so much charisma. And now all we have is this weird guy who's supposed to be afraid of the fire. I always thought it was so random how, out of all enemies, that one can just conveniently drop a broadsword. Like, there was nothing on his character that would suggest that. But for some reason, he just drops a bunch of situationally good stuff, like the longsword, and like one of the headpieces that raises item discovery. It's okay, Jasmine. We will find someone to summon at one point, because I think Lucatiel's here, if worse comes to worse. We will get Lucatiel if worse comes to worse. Why is the dog just standing there? No, the sword's breaking. Curse you, 60 frames for suspiciously breaking stuff faster. And how that was never really fixed. Well, I accidentally hit the side of the house, so pretty sure that means the guys from the floor underneath should be running up soon. Damn it, I lost the Titanite shard. It really bothers me how that guy just occasionally decides to break the chest. Oh wait, maybe the guys aren't... yeah, I guess they just didn't wake up for some reason. I really like how slowly they get up, and they're still leaning on the table as if it was there. Now for outfits I will never use. Yeah, I take it back. I might use the axe. Just look at this big axe. Oh, weird. I remembered it being, like, comedically large. It still looks reasonable. Oh, neat. The dog dropped something. Now, maybe it's just me, but I feel like I never end up using any of the soul items. I always felt it was just easier to kill an enemy than to actually get the item. I didn't think Lucatiel would be there. I don't know why, but I expected that backstab to do so much more. And the axe. Maybe I should get out the mace. Well, the mace is definitely doing more. Yeah, I was kind of expecting one of them to just run past me. I'm surprised I managed to just get them both before they ran in. Now for that one torch nobody ever sees. That torch has to be like the least visible thing. I swear that torch is just suspiciously hard to see. even holding a light next to it. Kind of a shame how they tend to always break that door. Yeah, that's the thing, it's just so poorly visible. You could quite literally hold a light to it and not see it in the slightest. This is the worst torch. And the weird thing, it's like the completely different color the rock is. So how it's not visible, there's like some weird optical illusion going on there. Wasn't there another one of them? Where'd the other one go? Weird how much damage this axe does in comparison to the other one. Alright, do I have a better blocking shield? Can I actually use this one? Oh, neat, I can! I never bothered to learn with the whole, oh, just dodge at an angle. With the whole bow, or not bow, crossbow trap. I always thought it was just easier to equip the heavy shield and two-hand it. Now, I know it'd make more sense to talk to him.
Goblet, what? With
Wait, all he has is the poise ring? I'd expect more from him. So, funny enough, you cannot actually sell the pre-order bonus. You are stuck with that. You can't even trade it away. They're just permanently scarred onto your character. But I get the feeling that selling these souls isn't a good deal. I don't even have enough stuff to sell.
Go home.
You have to wonder, how much booze does that guy have? Like, to just constantly be drinking it. Like, that guy has to be hammered 24/7. There's just no other way. I know it didn't go too well the last time I tried to fight two at once, but I'm getting a better feeling about this time. Well, that worked out better. I didn't even get the bleeding status on me. Still no broadsword, sadly. One day I'll get one from them. Preferably before I leave, because I really don't want to grind for it. I know the broadsword isn't even all that special, but I just like it for the sake of it being a strength straight sword. Kind of like how there's always a dex straight sword. It's just nice to have one that leans in the extreme. Oh, that's another thing that this version of the game has. So, you don't actually kill crystal lizards in this game. Or in the original Dark Souls 2. See? Here, I'll be quiet for a moment so you can hear it, but it actually still makes a sound. And it still moves, even though it's dead. I always thought that was so weird about the original Dark Souls 2. How the crystal lizards technically don't die. They just stay there. Complete with sound effect. Hell, they're even animated. I have no idea why they only changed it in Scholar. That seems like an oversight they probably should have fixed immediately. Although, here's the thing nobody asks about these crystal lizards. How does he blink? Look, his eye is made out of crystal. It must be like having a pair of glasses just wedged onto your face. That has to be uncomfortable. Oh, shoot, for once there's an actual message telling you about the thing. Now, maybe it's just me, but I always thought the, armor sets on display in Souls games were always disturbingly small because, look at this. I have my character on the skinniest preset. And even then, the helmet's too small. Who can this actually fit? I just feel like it's always just ever so slightly too small. To the point where it's uncomfortable that nobody bothered to correct it in any of the Souls games because the weapons are the right size. It's just the armor that's always weirdly small. Alright, time to get Lucatiel and pretend she's a real NPC summon. And note to self, do not leave controller on task. Like I said, it's like a year of experience never quite happened. Maybe it's the same with Lucatiel. Maybe she's debating whether or not she actually wants to jump down. Well, so much for doing this, Taplis. Damn it, Lucatiel. Now, I want to advance Lucatiel's quest, so I'm just going to take the hit and use the human effigy. Do I have any rings that could make this easier? Darn, nothing. Now I kind of regret not taking the life ring. You know, I think that's worse, Jasmine. You knew but said nothing. Well, at least it's better than this guy. I don't know, but there's just something about him. Maybe it's the way his outfit's just slightly beat up. You know, it's not enough to look like it's in desperate need of repair, but it's just slightly beat up enough that you know he doesn't take good care of his clothes. Why is this guy afraid of barrels? What did the barrels do to him? Oh my god, he's T-posing! Holy shit, this is worse than Fallout 76 because at least that game had the excuse of being outdated before it was even out. get if they have fire arrows. Am I just going to blow up horrifically? Weird, I had no idea we had Estus. You know, I know I should probably play this game more cautiously, but part of me really doesn't want to give the enemies more thought than just spam R1 to kill. I know that's a bad habit, but I really don't want to have to think about my actual fights. Damn it, I didn't get their helmet. Their helmet is the perfect stand-in for, like, the Skyrim helmet. Like the one that Dragonborn always wears. And I feel like what's the helmet, or not the helmet, the item drop, you tend to get the least from them. I guess they're not coming down. Or up? Okay, this time I'm not summoning Lucatiel. I'm going to wait until everyone's dead. Yeah, Jasmine? Actually, no, I've never watched it. I know this is going to sound dumb, but I remember in high school there were some classmates of mine talking about it, and they were saying like, oh, how great it was, and how characters were so well written, how people die when you least expect it. So then I made jokes about how it's like, oh, is it like every stereotypical fantasy story where it takes place in a place that they swear isn't England? Or more specifically, London from England? You know, basically pointing out all the fantasy tropes. And they got really bothered by it, so that made me wonder if the show was all that original. But yeah, if making fun of a show that you've never seen and just assuming it's generic and having people get upset by pointing it out, that's the closest I ever got to watching it. I want to see, are his pants actually better than mine? Well, they're lighter. Yeah, I feel like I can make this work. There. Don't I look just like a Dragonborn discount? It's like you can only get half the costume. Holy shit, do they do damage. I honestly don't, and it really hasn't gotten better ever since my mother stole the cable box from my room. I mean, really, who does that? Who actually steals a cable box just to put it in an empty room? I feel like that's insulting. To just take out a cable box from someone's room and put it in an empty room. Aw, the mummy guy isn't here. Good thing there's a bunch of generic sword people. I have a suspicious amount of poise. Was the poise always that high? I feel like the moment I put on this outfit, all their poise got better. Damn it, why don't they drop the helmet or the gloves? Well, so much for becoming the Dovahkiin. Now I'll just have to use a normal outfit. With normal aesthetics. But while we're on the topic of, like, fantasy and all that, does anyone find it like how, compared to how often the night gets explored in fiction, how, like, weirdly absent, like, around the Renaissance era is in terms of fantasy or just fiction in general? Like, where are the vampire killers and the werewolf hunters and the people going crazy from, like, what's the word? HP used the word a lot. Let's just say cosmic horrors. Eldritch abominations? Yeah, Eldritch abominations. That's the phrase. Why doesn't that get explored a lot? I know it gets explored, like, with generic, campy Halloween stuff, but there's never something to, like, really take it on the other edge and, like, actually make a serious work out of it. Although I have to say, despite Lovecraft's work being around for a while, and his always questionable way of telling a story, does anyone find it weird, like, how few Lovecraft-related games there actually are? Like, I don't mean, like, official type things, like the Bethesda one from, like, around 12 years ago. Or, like, I guess Bloodborne? I want to say that counts as, like, HP-inspired. I mean, just change the names and I'm pretty sure someone can stand in for Cthulhu. Although Cthulhu's like the generic one everyone knows about. Then again, he is also like the main one with the tentacles. Maybe that's why people remember him. Because the internet just loves tentacles. I don't understand why. Or how that's like something. Like, why tentacles of all things to make jokes about? Or like the non-joke thing and how it shows up in, like, I guess hentai? Why that of all things? I feel like there's so much and so many better things to do innuendos with. Yeah, I feel like that's probably normal. I mean, how often do people truly read, like, the moment you get outside of high school? I feel like you're more likely to watch something fantasy-related than read it. Finally, the shadow with the chest in the actual spot! That really bothers me, how they didn't bother to move the shadow for the chest when they moved the chest up here for Scholar. You know, I really don't know that much about fantasy either. All I know is, like, there's always dragons, people in plated costumes. Yeah, that's pretty much all I know about it. Oh, and Britain and London. It's always in those places for no reason. Oh, and kings and queens. That is basically all I know about fantasy, but apparently every single thing about fantasy people talk about embodies all of those, to the point that there's nothing else. Although, one thing I thought that was interesting was Warhammer, like the 4000, I hope that's the right number, sub-series, where it basically takes, like, the tropes of fantasy, but puts them in, like, a sci-fi setting. I don't have too much experience with Warhammer. The most I ever got was Warhammer Space Marine. But I felt like that was kind of interesting, just to see, like, the orcs in, like, a sci-fi aesthetic. Really? feel like I should probably read a book sooner than later. Maybe I should go to the library and actually see if they have that book. I feel so bad that I never go to my library, even though it's just a handful of blocks away. And not only that, but apparently now you can even rent movies and video games from a library. And music. Harrison6, thank you for the follow. Hope your day, morning, evening, and or all three of the above is going well. See, that's something that always kind of freaked me out with books, how, like, there's never a book on its own anymore. Like, every book is always part of a series by this or that author. Although one thing I would never expect from a book... I know Humble Bundle occasionally does book stuff, but apparently there was a Humble Bundle for, like, the most weirdest book ever. Neat, Common Fruits. There was supposedly, well, not supposedly, but would you believe me if I told you there was a book that you could have bought on Humble Bundle about having a pair of haunted pirate pants? I think that was it. Really? I know this is going to sound dumb, but I have a bookshelf, and it's not filled with books. As dumb as that sounds. To have an actual bookshelf and not really have books for it. I need to organize my bookshelf so I can actually put books on it. Because wouldn't that be something? Having books on a bookshelf. Instead of boxes. I wonder if I can actually use a spear. What are my stats now that I think about it? I might be better going with the strength version of it. I know it's dumb to have a bookshelf and not have really books on it. I'm not entirely sure how I did that, too. I feel like you have to mess up to have a bookshelf filled with a bunch of stuff that aren't books in them. Really? Like, whenever I was a kid, I would be so used to, like, seeing a bunch of Wikipedia series all lined up next to each other. And, like, the same thing with fictional stuff. Yeah! Haunted Pirate Pants. I'm pretty sure that was a thing on Humble Bundle you could have bought. Really wish I remembered the title of the book, rather than just a random part in the synopsis at the back. I guess the synopsis spoke to me for some reason. Really? I don't know, it just seems like a weird, can't be too common or often thing. It's like, oh, I got a bookshelf. Let's put a bunch of boxes in it. Oh, let's put stuff from the Wii on it, or an old, like, camera. Basically stuff nobody's going to touch. Well, I'm done with that place. Never want to go back to it. Let's try going in this direction. I wonder if there are still people I could summon here. I feel like out of all places in Dark Souls 2, this one probably has the easiest summoning range. one day I'll run under the gate. You know, that really bothers me how bad the hitbox is on that gate. And how supposedly it can do some bad damage if you stand underneath it. Right? If you didn't find the game. You know, I feel the same way. Like, if I never picked up this game and bothered to, like, go watch Aunt's live stream, I feel like there are a bunch of people. I feel like I wouldn't have met anyone I did on Discord. Yeah, I feel the same way. Like, because of one thing. Like, it led to, like, meeting a bunch of people. Like, I don't think I would have gone on Twitch otherwise. Because, like, sure there are games that, like, say, oh, live streaming features. Blah blah blah, sign your Twitch account and blah blah blah, go watch people play the game to receive rewards in the game. Like, none of those ever did anything for me. But weirdly, Dark Souls was the thing that got me on Twitch. And this game doesn't even have, like, any stupid gimmick, like Warframe, or heck, I think Fortnite even asks you to link your account. Yeah, same here. The reason I got on Twitch was because I was looking for help with creating a character on Dark Souls 3 character-wise, like, not stats, but physical appearance. And the first video that showed up was a video Ots made, like, giving a few face presets. And then I saw some of his other videos, and at the end of some of them he said he streamed on Twitch. And that is the sole reason I ever got on Twitch. Why is that guy already walking? But yeah, it's just because of that. Like, I met a bunch of people through Twitch. I wonder how common that is. Maybe there's just something weird about Ots' community. It's making people talk to each other in the chat. How horrifying, rather than just say messages and hope they get read and somebody laughs. How dare Ots' chat promote people talking to themselves. Or, I mean each other. I don't know, because there are like a lot of, like, Twitch viewers, or not viewers, streamers, and I keep getting the... I swear I'm getting words backwards. Who, like, have chats where, like, people don't really talk to each other. They basically just comment on what's happening, or making jokes about it. Like Vinesauce. Vinny's great, but I feel like most of chat is just... they're just commenting on... or just making jokes. Oh my gosh, that went through his eye. I feel like Vinny's the one telling stories, and chat's just there for the ride. Where, like, with Ots, it's like, engaged? Like, it's more back and forth, if that makes sense? Oh yeah, meme. Speaking of meme, didn't he say he had to do something earlier today? I hope whatever he did, he actually, like, it worked out well. Or maybe I'm going crazy and he said, like, 2 days ago he had to do a test and I'm thinking it's still the same day. funny enough, the reason like I started talking to everyone was because of Sneck and Irritated. I was in Sneck's chat and Irritated. Sneck was playing PUBG, I believe. And Irritated told me to go on. It's like, oh, just play with him. And because of that, I got on and then started talking to everyone. Although we were talking like in text before, so yeah. Really? Oh, neat. Okay, I feel like that could be said a lot on Twitch. All because of a really bad game. I know it's not Friday, but damn it, why'd my 1-year anniversary have to land on a Friday? I should have been playing something incredibly bad. You know, it's too late to download Deadly Premonition. Maybe that's what I should be looking into. That's the thing everyone needs. More Deadly Premonition. You know what's the worst thing? I know Deadly Premonition is considered to be a bad game, and it's horrifically broken on PC, but I actually like the writing in that game, even though it's very campy. And some of the characters are kind of out of place. Really? Maybe it's just me, but I feel like I never say anything in Otsa's chat. I feel like I've just become like a lurker. Someone who's just there, not saying anything. Someone you have to really fight with to see if they're an actual robot or not. I know this is going to sound dumb, but I feel like I started talking to people in that chat less. And I can't help but feel like it's because of PUBG. Where I would start to hear the people, and can I just say it's way different when you hear someone and when you read their messages. I think that made me want to talk to people less. It's like, oh no, I have a voice I can associate with them. They're not just text. They're actual people. Maybe PUBG broke me. Grey Worm. But I get the feeling the character has nothing to do with worms, or like not even has dreads. I feel like that name could just be out of left field. No, everyone's text. You, I, him, her, he, she, they. Maybe that says something about me talking to people where I felt uncomfortable and I could start attaching voices to people. You're right, he doesn't, but let's not talk about him. Never him. Holy shoot, for once the leg isn't just like clipping through something. I feel like in Souls games, the way your character adjusts their legs to angles, they tend to do it in like the worst way. Like the type of way where rather than just angle your leg, your character starts like their leg goes into their body. I wish I could, like, do it to try and show it. Why does that axe look like it's rolling in slow motion? Oh, it's rolling back. So ends the story of the rolling axe. Now to secure the legal rights and to somehow make 12 movies out of it. That's how I'll make it big. By making 12 movies about the rolling axe. It'll be one of those so bad, how the heck did this get a sequel? And people will watch it because of that. I always thought it was weird how, like, the fire is basically just a red herring. You'd really think the fire would, in the cave, would actually be like a marker of where to not stand. So what I'm studying in school is business degree is one of the things I'm going for. Then the other thing was software emphasis. Even though I don't know anything about programming, everyone always tells me how good it is to have knowledge in programming and how, oh, it's helpful, you can get really good jobs with that are easy. So I just took everyone's advice and aimed for that. Although, I have to say, I'm nowhere close to finishing up, like, the programming part. Like, I barely started with, like, the, well, I can't say I barely started, but I still have a few years for the business degree. And it also doesn't help that I can't quite really afford all the classes I want to take on one semester. Because I do not want to get student loans. I've always heard about how people are still paying those off into their 60s and 70s. And how even if you do bankruptcy, your student loans still follow you. So I always place my classes on a singular credit card.
Leslie.
What about you, Jasmine? What are you studying? Okay, I know this is dumb, but I kind of don't want to have 13 health. I know that number can't hurt me. But I'm not going to bother with it after the horrendous start the stream had. OBS was like having horrific buffering. Only loans? Alright. God, I'm so scared of that. I know at the rate I'm going at, I should honestly just get student loans if I can't find a job in the next few months, but I really don't want to do student loans. I would so much rather just pay them on credit cards. Ooh, digital media. Sounds fancy. I feel like digital and design are like those types of things on like degrees. It just make it seem like, oh, I could never understand this unless I already knew about it. Even though it's not. Like heck, when you think software emphasis, well, granted programming doesn't come to mind as the first thing. Pretty easy to connect the dot. Wow, people are still invading in this game? What are the odds? I really did not expect people to still be invading in non-scholar. Alright, let's see. Nope, he does not want to do emotes. I wonder if I can parry him. Come back here, Dark Knight. I'm not done with you. You didn't let me bow. We're going to do an honorable fight. Where's my fire bombs? Oh, damn it, he crawled down. he's too low level to have like a healing spell at this point. So I don't get what he's doing. I'm going to no at him. No, no, no. You don't invade that way. You need to try again. Alright, now to read that message. Sorry, I didn't really want to lose to a random invader. Ooh, radio and television. Sounds exciting. Well, as long as you still have time and options, I figure you're probably okay with wondering what to do. You know, I kind of feel bad for that guy, because what are the odds that he'll have more than one dark orb?
Is that here to see how it...
Wait, did I heal during that fight? Oh, it wasn't a duel. I'm sure he's fine. Yeah. What are the odds? I feel like my memory's getting worse, but I can't even remember if I healed during that fight. Oh shoot, I did. That is so bad. I even forgot to cash this in. What am I doing? You know, I feel like it's a problem if you do it in the arena. Because you know that means your opponent's cheating if they manage to get the Estus out in the arena. And besides, he didn't let me do a gesture. How dare he? That's the true sin, even though everyone attacks people who do gestures in this game. How dare he not let me do a weird little wave. Now, I have to say though, for an invader, I kind of expected him to have different armor than the Elite Knight set. Granted, the armor has Knight, and it's... well, he said Dark Knight. I was kind of expecting, like, the skeleton. Like, the Dark Wraith Knight. Too bad I'll probably never see an invader ever again. Ever. I'll probably stop the words. I'll probably stop seeing messages. And you know what? Who needs textures? Those are part of the online experience. I'm sure those will go away too. And the polygons. Do we really need a 3D game? No, let's get rid of everything to match the weird online status of Dark Souls. Okay, now I know this is going to sound dumb, and I'm kind of glad it's finally dying out, but like, the whole word Souls, like, that word to describe Dark Souls as a genre always bothered me because Dark Souls is a Metroidvania. And Twitch recently added automatic tags, so when you put a game, it'll give you tags by default. And one of the tags for Dark Souls 2 is Metroidvania. You know how great it is to see people calling it what it is instead of saying Souls-like? Souls-like really bothered me. Like, nothing against Souls, it's a good series and all that, even though I constantly make fun of it and call it unfinished, buggy, and a broken mess, but this didn't create a genre. fun as it may be. And nothing really. All it means now is whenever people say, "Ew, Dark Souls is Souls-like," I can just say, no, it's not. Twitch even calls it a Metroidvania. And it's not like the word Metroidvania really means anything. It's just a subgenre. Typically the subgenre means that levels tend to be like mazes and interconnected. Always bothered me how this guy's just here right after a boulder falls, presumably from right here. It really makes it look like he's the one who set off the boulder. Like, I can't be the only person who thought that. It's like, you're the one who set that boulder.
Well, it... Yes.
You know, these characters really have a lot of dialogue. Too bad they don't really say anything else after the first time. All he's good for is the house key. And even then, it's not a good house. Like, I've heard of bad houses, but you know your house is in a very bad part of town if there's a giant hole bigger than your house right in front of it. And the worst part is nobody's even bothering to try and cover up the hole. They're just letting it be there. Just a giant hole outside somebody's house. People aren't even giving a damn about it. It's like, oh yeah, there's a hole. It has a name now. I know this sounds dumb, but I kinda don't want the shortcut. Just by the small chance another invader comes by. Just so it's harder for him. Wait, is it really a mansion and not a house? Or a manor? Because I'm just saying, for a mansion, that house is pitiful. It's like beyond tiny. Like, if that's a mansion, then my bedroom's a manor. I wonder if I still remember my parry time for this guy. Here's the part where I test it. I don't know why, but I feel like this is such a good enemy to practice your parry timing with. And it's really convenient that he follows you. So even if you get a new thing, you can test out that parry tool. Probably. I wouldn't doubt it being called a mansion key. I'll look up the name after I'm done fighting the pursuer. Yeah, what am I thinking? I should just look it up in between a parry. House key. Huh. I thought it was a mansion key. I could have sworn it was called mansion key, not house key. Did I really just imagine it being called mansion key? Because I felt the same way. Does he call it a mansion? And I'm really confused where I got the idea that the game called it a mansion. Or maybe it's an updated thing in Scholar, because I really wouldn't put it past FromSoft to change item descriptions, or actual item titles, between this game and Scholar. Just seems like something they would do. Heck, I'm pretty sure the description for the last giant and the Giant King are two completely different things in this version. Yeah, I thought it said mansion too. I'm willing to bet this is just one of those things Scholar changed. Maybe we're all losing our mind. Oh my gosh, I love that clip from The Evil Within. There's like a stupid joke video, like a meme. There's a character in that game called Leslie who actually says we're losing our minds. But the funny thing is, it's just the same voice clip. They didn't get him. Well, people claim it's the same voice clip. People don't believe that he said it 5 times in a row. But it's basically just a character saying we're all losing our minds repeatedly. I don't know why, but I just find that so funny. And I think it's great that other people online think it's funny for no reason too. I have no idea why. It's not even intended to be comedy. But it's just like the perfect thing for like a meme. Just to have a character say, we're losing our mind repeatedly. Okay, good. I don't even have to think about combat. Just need to keep pressing R1. Yeah, I want to parry him. Let's make things exciting. Alright, this is the parry. I really love how stupidly dramatic the parry sounds are. I feel like they're even more dramatic in this game compared to 1 and 3, or Demon's Souls. Although I do like how they finally changed the sounds a little bit in Bloodborne. Granted, it's practically the same sound effect, just with a higher pitch. But there's something about it not being identical. Aw, they didn't tell me to knock. I always thought it was great when that door told you to knock. Can't believe it. Immersion broken. Random online note didn't tell me to knock on a door. Right? You hate? Yeah, that's a thing. Like, Demon's Souls makes sense, but the fact that it's demons, like the demon owns the soul, that small apostrophe really just makes it a pain. Right. It just feels so weird to say demons, like if you actually have to think about it, because if you just say it like immediately, it just comes off as you're saying Demon's Souls instead of Demon's Souls. This is like one of those things that even written doesn't look all that pretty. You can't end a word with S and then start the next one with it. It never comes off right. Maybe that's why it doesn't look right. You're onto something with it not sounding separated. Oh damn it, they're up there. They're just going to throw a bomb at me if I try to fight Turtle Man. Feels kind of weird just knowing how in regular Dark Souls 2, there aren't the invisible enemies. So you have like really even less of a reason to have a torch out. Not entirely sure that should have connected, but sure, why not? So one stupid thing I like doing with this chest in multiplayer is running up behind it while they're opening it, so that way you get stuck. And like the only way you can get out is roll, but if you make a fatter character, it actually takes you more rolls to get out. I know this is like such a dumb oversight that really just shows off your character's hitbox, but there's something about that because sometimes other people will do it and they won't know about the rolling to get out thing, so they'll just get stuck there. It's so goofy, just thinking about how you can just get... It looks like you'd get soft lock, but it's not. It really does look like you would get soft lock, though. I know it's bad to tank the first hit, but I just really like that about poise. I can tank one singular hit. Maybe two. Do I get jumped in this version? Okay, yeah, I still get jumped. But just by less enemies. Which I honestly have to say, I really prefer how the original Dark Souls 2 doesn't have this obsession with just swarming you with a bunch of enemies in the beginning of the game. You know it still happens, but it's a lot better about it. Like compared to the group of farmers that just come out to get you in Scholar. I completely forgot about the lizard there. Oh wait. I killed him! He's not moving like the other one! You didn't see anything. Why did that one actually die? I thought all of them had that weird bug that they don't actually die in the original Dark Souls 2. Maybe it's because I killed him before he made a jingle sound. Maybe that's it. Now, something goofy you can do if you don't kill the pursuer is you can actually summon Pate after you kill the giant and Black Crystal him out, and it'll still count as him fighting the boss with you. I always thought that was so goofy. And that weird bug also works in Scholar. So why didn't my cutscene play? I could have sworn I was supposed to get a cutscene with that. I have to say, for someone who's willing to win, wouldn't it make more sense to, I don't know, pull out the stake in your stomach than to rip off your arm? I get why they're doing it. They want it to be dramatic and edgy. But I always thought that was so impractical. And like ideally, even if the last giant won, what's he going to do without another arm? It really seems like he didn't think this through. That just doesn't look right. And he's gone. I guess he couldn't handle being stared at. That always bothered me about this game, how like the enemies don't have ragdoll, but they'll vanish eventually. But it never really feels like there's any consistency to when they vanish. It just sort of feels like it happened, and it feels like it doesn't happen to all the enemies. Just like randomly it'll happen to a small enemy. Good old Ring of Restoration. I feel like this is a perfect ring for if you're like bad at the game and you're afraid of using an Estus. You know, just standing here and wasting a few minutes until you get back to full health. I feel like that's the perfect thing to do if you're just like really bad at the game and are afraid of getting killed. I wonder how many people actually try that method. As tempting as it would be to do it, I'm not going to do it on stream just for the sake of how many minutes I'll waste. But it's still nice to have, even if the particle effects might affect the bit rate. Oh shoot, is this something I'm going to have to get rid of? Curse you, Ring of Restoration, you're ruining the Twitch bitrate. How could you? After everything we've been through, Ring of Restoration, you decide to kill the quality. You know, my mother sometimes sends me the same text messages at 1 AM. Is she asking you to cook you a bunch of hot dogs also? Because it always bothered me whenever my mother sends me messages like at midnight or 2 AM saying, I'm hungry, go make me hot dogs. Just don't say anything. Maybe she's trying to get you to cook something for her, but if you don't say anything, maybe things will just work out well. You know. Just try not to answer the actual message. Wait, you can break the door, but not the actual door frame? But you can break the wall that's like a few steps away? Like, you can break this wall, but you can't break the door? Weird. I wonder how those legs actually look. I feel like they should be thicker and more padded. Okay, so these boots kind of have some definition. Why do these look skin tight despite being baggy? They really do make you look disproportionate. Curse you, FromSoft, and your inability to layer clothes on top of someone. You know, I get that it's an RPG that lets you change your outfit, and it always bothered me whenever that would happen in in Skyrim, where you would find an outfit that would make your legs really skinny. Like, it's not just a Dark Souls things. The Dragon Quest game on the DS also suffered from that. It always bothered me. Because wouldn't you think when you're drawing the outfit, to draw it over the character by default. So I just don't know how that type of thing is so common. Like, it really shouldn't be. That could have gone worse. I wonder if the other guy fell. Okay, so this ladder is a trap. If you actually drop down, you will drop down into the cliff. This ladder is such a... And like, the question is why? Why does your character just throw themselves off the whole way? This has to be an oversight. It really does. Like, this ladder doesn't kill you. Yeah, your character just really gets some distance from the wall whenever they hit it. And it's just enough to get you killed there. I feel like those particle effects are really ruining the outfit. Yeah, sure, why not? I already died before, so this isn't deathless. So yeah. Like, if you're trying to, like, plant a hit on someone, you just drop down... Excuse me? Excuse me, game? Maybe it's the outfit. I have lost deathless runs to just pressing the drop button on this. Oh, I see how it is, game. You're willing to take away a deathless run from me whenever I drop down, but now it's fixed. Oh, I see how it is. I see how it is, game. I swear I've lost deathless runs to this. I swear the stupid thing would overshoot you. Damn ladder, making me a liar. You know, I'm going to have a fist fight with this ladder. Yeah, I parried that ladder into death. I don't want to stay here anymore. This place is awful. In every single way. I'm done with this. Damn effective, not even dark tunnels. I'm really just done with this. I'm going to walk out in style. Even though I think there are still 2 enemies alive. And no, this is not the walk of shame. This is the victory lap. Damn it, I can't believe that stupid ladder. It's ruined deathless runs I've done before, but now it decides to work? I feel so ripped off. I really do. Man, this is a good spot for it. So one thing I always like doing, even though it really just shows how bad the physics are in this game, is I always like throwing down a barrel into the ocean, because, see, it goes into the water, but it never floats back up. I don't know why, but just knowing how bad the physics are in this game like that, kind of, it brings a joy to my eye. And it really makes me appreciate well-made games like Wind Waker better. On Wind Waker you can throw or not just Wind Waker, in Twilight Princess that's actually a puzzle, where you can throw a box or a barrel and stand on it. And this game can't, despite being on... Well, I can't really say it's on a stronger console generation considering I'm on PC. Alright. Now for this message. Alright, so this is what I mean. You put it in the middle and you can't see it. And then when somebody walks by, see how you get check your message? Instead of like the actual... Like, you basically have to move around to get the examine prompt. And it's perfect, because like, you can't see the message. Well, I guess you can kind of see the tip, so I didn't align it properly. Yeah, this is another good spot to put like those stupid blocking messages. It still bothers me how they just put textures. Like they couldn't even do the black bars properly. It's not so bad. Just moderately. Just moderately bad. Like, they're not going to die from it. Unlike the other one I put next to a ledge. That one's worse. Because you can see that one. And it's just there taunting you. This one, at least you just killed a boss, so you're in the safety of... Yeah, you're in the safety of not having enemies after you.
Seems less.
Aw, that could have been like an even 20. And with that, it's been 2 hours. That's usually about the time I go for. I'm going to have to call it quits here on the whole 1-year anniversary stream. I honestly thought I could go longer, but I don't know, maybe I did too much today. I feel kind of tired. And with that, before we go, let's actually find someone to raid. You know, to spread the anniversary cheer. Or however that works. Did the person I was raiding just end? Oh my gosh, the person I was going to raid just ended streaming. Alright, later Jasmine. Yeah, a lot of people who were streaming are no longer streaming. Yeah, that's definitely true. And maybe I could... You know, let's go raid someone else playing this game, because there are actually people playing this game in English. Let's go give someone a raid. Yeah, let's just go raid someone random. Alright everyone, and until next time. we might not come back to this ever again. In the slightest. But wait, the person I was going to raid isn't even playing this game. They put Dark Souls in their title. Okay, so nobody who speaks English is actually playing Dark Souls 2. Alright everyone, so much for the raid. Until next time, maybe we'll actually be able to raid someone speaking English.